everybody, Al Bernstein here with another one of my features, Things I Can Live Without. This is the part where I get to do some complaining. My on-the-air persona, of course, is normally pretty sunny, perhaps too sunny for some, so you'll probably like this. This is where I get to carp about a few things that I can live without. The first one is, I can live without fans and pundits or anybody deciding that one bad situation means that they can't stand boxing anymore. I get so many tweets and see so much written where when there's a terrible decision or bad officiating or some controversy from a commission or whatever, somebody says, oh, that's it, I'm through with boxing. Well, of course they're not through with boxing. If they're boxing fans, they're going to come back to the sport. I'm not suggesting for one moment that those things don't grate on us, and there are many moments when they can create the kind of outrage that makes you never want to see the sport again. I am a Chicago Cubs fan. I can't tell you how many times in the last 40 or 50 years of my life I have said I will never root for that team again. This is it. It's the final straw. Of course I come back to them because I like the Cubs and I want them to win. And I think that's true of boxing fans as well. So please, don't tweet it, don't write it, don't say it. You're not going to leave the sport. I can live without the suspicion that fighters are using PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs. Now, notice I said I can live without the suspicion. I'm not suggesting it's wrong to suspect fighters of using performance-enhancing drugs. We've seen boxers fail drug tests. We have seen them lose titles over this. We are fairly sure that, as in all other professional sports, there are probably many boxers who are using performance-enhancing drugs. The number is probably more than we have seen exposed in the sport. We're certain of that. Let's face it, when many of us saw Juan Manuel Marquez show up with an entirely new body and a new zest for life, if you will, in his fight with Manny Pacquiao, there were probably questions. And those are unanswered questions, to be perfectly candid. I understand that he passed the prescribed drug test, and as of now, that's what a fighter has to do. And I'm not suggesting or accusing Juan Manuel Marquez of using illegal drugs or PEDs. I'm saying that there are many who wonder about that at this juncture. They wondered it about Manny Pacquiao. They wondered it about other fighters. And the reason I'm even bringing this up is the way that I can live without that suspicion is if better testing would be done. If somehow the commissions would get on board with a brand of testing that would give us some level of confidence that they are catching all or most of the cheaters. Now, clearly, as we've seen even in the world of Olympic testing, as sophisticated as those testing systems are, even they don't get everybody because the masking agents are such that oftentimes the folks using PEDs are one step ahead of all the testing. However, I would love to see boxing improve in that area so that I then could live without what we all have, the suspicion of fighters using PEDs. And finally, I can live without the perception that it appears still exists with many fans, observers, pundits, media members, that a single loss by a fighter damages their marketability or even their credibility as a fighter. You would think by now, if there's a lesson we've learned from mixed martial arts as it continues its so far very successful run as a embryonic sport, is that someone who loses a match and fights well and creates excitement for fans should not be punished for that. They should be rewarded with another match in which they can fight well, entertain the fans, and maybe the next time they'll win. So the idea of losing should not be seen as this blight on somebody's record. Of course, it's better to be undefeated than to have lost a match. But the emphasis that apparently is still put on that, and I see it often in what people write and what people say, just seems to me to be a bit much. And again, I would refer back to our friends in the mixed martial arts world who have shown us that great champions can have 5-6 losses and yet they are considered icons and great mixed martial artists. So I would like to see us all really take a step back from that thinking and acknowledge that one loss does not a career-ending situation make. So those are some of the things I can live without. Why don't you tell us some of the things you can live without? You can tweet me at Bernstein and let me know some of the things you can live without, and maybe I'll comment on them in my next feature.